Welcome to another episode of Real Talk Live, where we talk about movies, TV shows, and all the latest entertainment news. I'm your host, Krypton Caged, and I'm joined here today by my co host, the Viking. How are you doing? I'm good. Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, like you said, we have a very packed show, and there's a lot of topics to cover. So let's jump right into the first topic of today, which is Old the movie. So before I get into it, since you've just watched this movie, I want to get your fresh take on this movie before I say it because I've watched it a few weeks ago, and you know, so let's just start with you.
His mind is crazy. And when you go into a new M Night movie, there's going to be some massive twist. And in this movie, there was a twist. So basically, just the main plot for this movie is a family is on a holiday. They go to a of course, as well. So then this family and these group of strangers go to this beach to chill out. But then something weird starts happening every half hour they age, and they can't get off this beach. And then before they know it, their whole lives have passed them by after just one day of being on this beach. So the film is pretty weird. It's not like anything you've seen before. The film is actually based on a book that M. Night got for his birthday for Christmas a few years ago. And he read the book and he came up with this idea. The book is kind of similar, but then he put it into his own vision. And we have the movie. So, look, when you're watching this movie, like, you don't know whether you love it or you hate it. And if you're not an M. Night fan, you're probably not going to like this movie because you've seen his other movies in the past. You've seen the twists. You either like the twist or you don't like the twist. This movie here, I enjoyed the movie. It was just so weird. Like some of the stuff that was happening to the characters, like they age rapidly. Old in this movie pretty quickly. You have kids turning into adults, and it's just a weird movie. And you're like, what's going on? And by the end of the movie, it's revealed what exactly is going on. And near the ending of the movie, it's like there's you're satisfied watching the ending of this movie because of something that happens. But while they're on the beach, the score kind of drives your anxiety crazy.
Oh, looks like we have lost
Go
you. Are you there, Mar? Oh, well, looks like we lost Mar, so let's wait for him to jump back in. But until then, let me share my thoughts on the movie. So, firstly, I thought that this movie, and also like Mar said, I'm a big fan of M. Night. I think most of his movies are pretty good. The only one that I haven't seen is The Lady in the Water, I think, and the rest of them I have seen and I loved them. Some more than others, but most of his work I really love, and I like that he makes original films, and the ideas are kind of unique, and nobody else kind of it's not derived from some other concept. So I like that he does that, and his knack for suspense and mystery is pretty good. So I love that part as well. And for this movie, I think that one of the strengths of this movie is that it's a very strange concept from the get-go, and then we see a lot of characters that go through this process of aging on the beach, and nobody knows why it's happening. And until the very end, nobody knows why it's happening and or what's happening. But it's kind of a study of human life and psychology in a fast pace, because in life you get 80 years, 60 years, or whatever, how much ever time there is to actually figure out everything, and all the reactions people go through and all that. Oh, Mar, you're back. Yes. So yeah, so it's kind of like a long study of human behavior and psychology, and how they react to certain situations on a smaller scale, because everything is happening so fast. And basically this was kind of like a test for that, and I liked that, and I also liked the reveal of what this concept is about. And basically there's a group of scientists involved, and they are studying these people, and that's where this concept is. I won't give away exactly what it is, but that's basically the gist of it. But yeah, I did think that that was pretty good, and it also leaves room for the viewer to decide whether what the scientists were doing is right or wrong. It questions your morality, it questions their morality, and it's a very interesting dilemma that they face, and also you kind of face, because what would you do if you were put in that situation? What would you do if you were on the beach? Would you think that was fair? Would you think that was unfair? I think that it was pretty good and amazing concept that I think M. Night could have done a little better job at executing that, and making it more fleshed out and adding more elements into it. But I did find that it was a pretty good ending and pretty good movies overall. So yeah, I would definitely recommend it if you like M. Night's movies. It's right up there with of the other movies of his. I think he nails the suspense, mystery, the thriller aspect of it pretty well, and also a good concept. So I would definitely it's definitely worth checking out. And Mar, you finish what you were saying without dropping out?
Yeah, yeah. Apology, guys. Hopefully, everyone can hear me now. Um, yeah. Look, so I don't know how where I cut out and stuff, but yeah, the two of us are big M Night fans, and I'm always looking forward to his new movies. It's just when this one came out, I just didn't get time to go to the cinemas to watch it because that was the only place you could see this. And the film did pretty well at the box office, 90 million for a horror movie. This movie had really good legs, but like if you don't like M Night's movies, you're probably not going to like this. The twist is I like the twist. It was kind of satisfying near the end of the movie, but I think someone said it in the chat he needs to work on his third act of his movies. George, yeah, it does
Yeah,
decrease a little bit. That kind of once you take away what the f is going on here, you're kind of, oh, it's just a movie
yeah,
now. Okay, when's it going to end? That kind of thing. But when he keeps that suspense going of what is this movie, like Split, like Signs, Sixth Sense, then that's when you're really into the story he's trying to tell. So cinematography was brilliant. Some really wonderful shots. The score just drives your anxiety crazy.
yeah,
I thought, I really did. I thought the score was brilliant, and it's definitely a good watch. But if you're not a fan of M. Night, you're probably not going to like this. And if you don't like his kind of big twists in movies, you're probably not going to like it either. But I'm a big fan of his. I enjoy his original ideas because they're new, they're fresh, there's nothing like it. And, he could do a studio movie in terms of be given a franchise. Like he's done it before with Airbender and After Earth, these big, massive stars, these big action movies, and they haven't really worked out for him. So he's gone back to his roots. And I think it's paying off because Split and Glass were big box office hits for an original idea, and Old 90 million is not too bad either in a pandemic and had some pretty good legs. So I will say some of the dialogue at times wasn't great. I don't know if it was the actors because a lot of them are foreign actors. I don't know if that was the problem, because they talk in English throughout this movie, or maybe either the dialogue wasn't good or the actors weren't good at times. I don't know which it was, but it's a very weird movie because you have kids who then after like 30 minutes on the beach, they're adults, they're teenagers, they get older and older, and then there's older people, they die because they're already old. So it's a weird movie, but definitely worth checking out if you want to get your mind fucked,
Yeah, it's not
basically.
M Night's best movie. I wouldn't say it's in his top three either, but I think it was pretty good and definitely worth checking out.
Yeah,
All right, so let's move on to the second topic of today, and that is The Guilty, Jake Gyllenhaal's movie. Um, so yeah, all right. So I think most people have kind of missed this movie because they haven't seen any marketing for it or any kind of promotion from Netflix. Certainly, I haven't seen any trailer or anything from it, and the trailer for it I think came out a while ago, and um, I just got to know this from you actually. And the only thing that got me interested was the description there on the screen here, and obviously because it's a Jake Gyllenhaal movie, so he's always good in everything. So I just decided to watch it, and I
yeah,
thought this movie was pretty good, and I thought that the way it's shot, the way it's edited, and the score of this movie made it seem like a very intense movie, and most of the movie is it's mostly focused on Gyllenhaal's character because there's certain stuff happens that happens outside of the location he's in, but the camera isn't on him the entire time, and it still does a very good job at keeping you engaged in the story and um, describing what's happening, pulling off the twists that happen, and the way the way his character reacts to what's going on. And sorry, I'm just trying to not spoil the movie. So yeah,
yeah,
so that's how it's the concept is based on, and I thought it was very very well executed. And it's a very one location movie for the most part, and it has different characters, but we mostly hear just their voices. And from the audio, we have to imagine what the other side is like, other side of the phone calls. So yeah, I thought it
yeah,
was very, very well executed in that manner because it is very, very hard to pull off doing this. A single location, mostly a single character, just talking and telling us the story, right? Just audio based storytelling in a movie, and you don't have much visuals to work with. So it's a very hard thing to do, and I thought it was done pretty well. And when you put it on paper like that, I know that studios will panic because there's not much to say here, based on what you're describing. But there actually was, and the twists are pretty awesome. The voice, the audio narration part of the other side of the phone call is pretty awesome. It really gets you into that scenario, and you can definitely visualize what's happening on the other side. And I thought it was very very well done, and I would definitely recommend this movie. um it's one of the best Netflix original films, I think. And yes,
yeah.
this is one of those that you would not say fall into the average Netflix movie category. It's one of the great ones.
Yeah, it's directed by Anton Fuqua, who did Training Day, and this film is written by Nick Pizzolatto, who did who created True Detective. So True
Hmm.
Detective with Matthew McConaughey, Woody Harrelson. He was the writer for all three seasons, but like I look at this guy as a genius because that first season of True Detective is the greatest single season of television history. It's just a masterpiece. It's absolutely brilliant. He wrote that. So I was excited. Now this is a remake of a Danish movie of the same name, but of course Antoine Fuqua, Nick Pizzolatto come in. They bring their own ideas to it. So basically, the premise for the Danish film is basically the same, in that. But this film was shot at the start of the pandemic, just in like when the pandemic was really bad. So that's why Jake Gyllenhaal's on his own for the entire movie. That's why you don't really get to see him interact with too many people. I think he only interacts what, two or three people throughout the entire movie. And if you notice, Casey, everybody is is very socially distant. Um,
Yeah.
in the 911 call center, like there's loads of people working there, but they're deliberately 6 feet apart. I just found that funny while watching the movie
Yeah.
because um, they're not trying to be close. But anyway, so basically, he is a 911 operator. He gets a call from a woman who's in trouble. And basically, he's to try and solve this mystery all over phone by calling different cops around the city, keep in contact with the woman. Then he gets in contact with the woman's child. He's in contact with different cops on the side that he knows because he wants them to do, because he can't go out into the field to help this woman, so he gets a friend as well. So, um, but he's also dealing with some personal struggles, and his past starts to catch up with him in a way. Now, I think this is Jake Gyllenhaal's best performance since Nightcrawler, because if you just want to watch a movie to just see a great actor act, this is the movie to watch, because Jake Gyllenhaal is just on his own and he has to react to what's around him, the voices from the woman or from the different police officers or the people who are beside him in this 911 call center, and he has to react to absolutely everything. And at times he just has to react to his own feelings and what he's dealing with. So I think it's his best performance since Nightcrawler.
Have you seen Nocturnal
And there's
Animals?
I have seen that.
Oh,
Yeah, and he's really good in that. But I just think Nightcrawler is absolutely outstanding, and this is his best performance since then. But yeah, I understand that's a really good film as well. But um, there's a really dark twist as well, which I don't want to spoil. But like, I was sick to my stomach when the twist happened, because wasn't expecting this to come up in the movie. And when it hits, you're left, you're kind of in Jake Gyllenhaal's character's shoes because he doesn't know what exactly to do. And you're thinking, if I was in that situation, what would I do now? So I did think that was very interesting. And it's really well directed. It's definitely one of the best next Netflix films, Casey. I really agree there, because a lot of the Netflix movies have been pretty bad, while all the shows are pretty great. But also, just kind of a fun fact about this movie is the director he had COVID, or he tested positive for COVID, so he couldn't direct the movie on set. So actually, he was in a van down the street watching them shoot on a monitor, and he was calling them and directing them from the van down the street.
wow.
So he was never in. He was never in the room with Jake Gyllenhaal or the other actors. He was in a van watching it on a monitor, directing it from a monitor. That's insane. That's
It
pretty
is.
cool.
And
So I
also,
found that very
to your
interesting.
point of, having the COVID protocols in the movie itself, kind of, the social distancing aspect. There's also one more event that was pulled into the movie from reality, is the Chicago fires. So there's a huge fire
Yeah,
going on in the background. That's not necessarily a plot point, but it just is set in that time.
yeah, and it kind of adds to it as well, because Jake Gyllenhaal is trying to help this woman, and he's calling police officers to go help her because she's in a certain situation, and they can't. All they like, there's not available units. There's not available police officers because they're all dealing with the fire. So that's a problem as well. So yeah, so that's a good point. And yeah, I think it's definitely worth a watch on Netflix. It's definitely worth your time. And I thought, oh, it's in one location in this 911 call center.
Oh, we lost you again. Yeah, we lost you again. Can you try refreshing and coming back? Oh well. Oh, you're back. Okay, go. Yeah,
Am I back now? I'm sorry, guys. There's bad weather here lately, so I think that's it.
no worries, man. All right, so that was our review for
But
The
it's
Guilty, and yeah, we would definitely recommend it. You got to watch it, before me, actually, right?
Yeah, I got a screener of it about a week and a half before it hit Netflix, and I actually didn't talk about it online. I just watched the movie, then I told you I had seen it
Yeah,
early. But yeah, it was definitely a good watch, and I recommend everyone to watch it
absolutely.
because I I wasn't. I don't know if I cut out when I said this part, but I was expecting to be bored because it's in the one location. I was never bored once. I don't know
Yeah,
about you.
I agree with you. I completely agree with you, and the twist and everything just kind of made it even better for me, because of how dark it went, and um, and also the ending of the movie. It was. I just like the title of the movie itself, and it kind of makes you think. Um, it's about police, right? So it makes you think about certain things, and the way they deal with it in the movie is also pretty good. They show both perspectives, from the police aspect and also from the civilian aspect. So I do appreciate that part as well. And the title of the movie
Yeah,
is perfect.
the guilty, yes, and it plays into it.
Yeah.
And Jake Gyllenhaal's character is a very damaged person.
Yep. All right, so let's move on to a different topic, which is Nine Perfect Strangers. All right, so this show is a Hulu show, Hulu original show, but it later, after it premiered on Hulu, I guess it also premiered on Amazon Prime Video. Um, so I don't know exactly what's going on with that, but I saw it on Amazon Prime. We don't have Hulu here, but yeah, this show kind of came and went and nobody talked about it. But I thought it was pretty interesting and pretty good. I do think that it kind of hurt its popularity, or any kind of buzz, by being the weekly model, because nobody was talking about it, and there was not enough buzz from each episode to episode so that you can continue watching it without leaving the show. I think it would have benefited a lot with the binge model. But yeah, apart from that, I thought that this was a pretty good show. I just, liked the performances, and the concept was interesting. And I always like these movies that have, put a bunch of people in a single location and see what happens. That's basically kind of like Old, and that's also this movie, and the next topic that we are going to talk about, which is Squid Game. So I like these kind of concepts for shows and movies that have this, um, and it was done pretty well here as well. I thought that some of the characters were very, very unlikable, but I think that was on purpose, and you have to follow their journey throughout the show to understand why they were chosen and stuff. I thought that Nicole Kidman's character was amazing. She absolutely nailed it. This is the second show that she's in that she is absolutely nailed it. Like, the first one was The Undoing. I think that was, yeah, that was the one that I just thought that she was doing a pretty good job with this, the series format. And even here, she's doing a pretty good job. There's Michael Shannon in it as well. There's Samara Weaving, and there are other characters as well. So I thought that they did a pretty good job portraying those characters, but something kind of felt off. I don't know if it's because I was watching it weekly. There was not enough per episode to go like, oh wow, you need to watch the show. Like I said, I probably would have liked it more if it was the binge model, but I do think that the the journey that they go through for the entire series is very fascinating and interesting if it actually happens in real life, because it would definitely be a vile documentary on Netflix if this actually happened in real life, because it's that wild. The So basically what happens is, there's this organization or place called Tranquillium, and it's run by Masha, and Masha is the character who Nicole Kidman plays. And it's a place where broken people go to fix themselves, in layman's terms, right? So that's kind of what happens, but it happens in a very weird way, and the choices that they make are very strange and interesting at the same time. But at the end of the show, they come out of it um, serving the purpose. And I thought that was very fascinating. And it does, you know, it does make you think about the morality of the things that happen. It does make you question whether it should be legal or not, or whether it should be practiced in real life. But yeah, it was a fantastic portrayal from Nicole Kidman and the others of what this scenario could bring to certain people who are struggling with dealing with things in life. So yeah, I don't know if I would recommend it because it might not be for everyone. I mean, I don't even know if Maher liked it to be honest. But yeah, I thought it was good enough. I thought it would definitely would have benefited from a binge model because it's not one of those shows that you can keep watching week on week and still be very interested in it. You know. Um, but yeah. What did you think of it?
Yeah, so you have these nine strangers. They go to this place to kind of heal because they all have personal problems. Yeah, look, this show was it was boring at times.
Yeah.
You know, it's I will say if you're dealing with kind of mental health and stuff like that, maybe don't watch it because it's a very sad show. It deals with suicide, it deals with depression, it deals with things like that. So I don't know if I would watch it if I was dealing with those things. Maybe it would help certain people, but at times I just thought it was very sad. And like as you said, there wasn't much hype online because to be honest, like there was no like cliffhangers or anything like that for this series. There was no like oh my god moments really. There was a few, but yeah, there's all great performance in it from everybody. Melissa McCarthy's in it, Nicole Kidman, but I just never felt attached, and I didn't really count down the days to the next episode. You know, I watched one like I think I went through 2 or 3 weeks without watching an episode, and I just binged three of them in a row. Yeah, I wouldn't recommend it to say like my mother is an average watcher of movies and TV shows. I don't think I'd recommend it to her. I think she'd get bored pretty quickly of it. You know, I don't think she'd sit down and watch all 9 episodes or 10 episodes. So, yeah, it's a fine watch. It's well directed, great performances, some heavy stuff, but at times very boring, and there was no real massive twist,
Yeah.
which I was expecting.
Yeah.
So I will like we watched the one with Sydney Sweeney and Alexandra Daddario a few weeks ago. What was that called again on
The White
HBO?
Lotus.
Yeah, I think that was a little bit more interesting,
Yeah.
even though it didn't have a massive twist either. It was just the endings, the cliffhangers were better, and there was kind of a bit of mystery to some of the characters. Here, we kind of found out everything, and there was no oh my god moment for me anyway.
Yeah.
It's okay. I won't be watching it again.
Yeah, me neither. All right, so let's move on to the next topic, which is Squid Game. And yep. So before I say my part, why don't you go ahead and tell me what you think of how many episodes you have watched so far?
Yeah. Okay. So my brother as well doesn't keep up to date with movies or TV shows or any of that kind of stuff. And like last week, he comes into my room and he goes, "Hey, just watched Squid Game." I was like, "What's that?" And he started explaining it to me, and I'm like, "Okay, now if someone like him who has no interest in movies or TV shows or anything like that is coming into me to recommend me to watch this, then this must be something that's going to be pretty big, you know, because usually it's me recommending shows I like to him, and I'm up to date with all this stuff. And so, yeah, I watched. I didn't know if it was like a, a, a real show in terms of like, oh, this is some kind of documentary or something like this. Or, you know, I sat down to watch it, and yeah, it's just crazy, man. You get these people putting into weird scenarios where they think they're in it to win a prize or win some money, and next minute they know they're playing like like red light, green light. You know, like red light, stop, green light, you run or you keep going. You try and catch up with the person who's like the leader or something like that. And then if you're caught moving when it's red light, you get shot in the head. Like, what is that about? And then you have the people who are playing this game, who participated in this game for money, are realizing, wait, this isn't what I signed up for. What is this? So basically, these people have to go through ridiculous games and scenarios, and if they fail, they're killed, and the winner gets money or gets a prize. And yeah, this show was absolutely insane. Of course, it's in it's dubbed as well. If you're watching it, like I think it's Korea. Is it
Yeah.
Korea? If that's right. So like I don't speak Korean, so it's dubbed for me. But I like sometimes that would turn me off a show, but actually here it's not. I'm interested because the scenario and the situations is just absolutely crazy. So I think this is an amazing piece of television from Netflix. I think it's set to be the number one watch show on Netflix, which is crazy if you think about Stranger Things, The Witcher, Squid Game is going to be the number one watched thing on Netflix of all time. So I think a season two is probably guaranteed. I'd say they're probably hard on work on a season two now because this is one of the biggest shows of all time, and I'm surprised they caught on so quickly. And yeah, the word of mouth is insane. Like Netflix hardly markets anything on their service. They just rely on word of mouth. If it's good, people will find out. And this show is good and people found out. So yeah, I'm only on episode 2 and I'm eager to watch the rest of these episodes. And the characters are pretty interesting. I'm invested into the story. I'm on the edge of my seat. I don't know what's going to happen next. It's just insane. And that's great television. I think we were just talking about Nine Perfect Strangers. I wasn't anticipating the next episode. I wasn't engaged because it was boring. Here, I can't wait to click play on the next one. It's just it's one of those shows.
Yeah, I agree with you there, and I think that so for me, I think I have mentioned this before as well, but I was just browsing Netflix one day, and and then I went into that slideshow mode where they show different projects, and one frame from Squid Game just popped into that, and I was like, it was one with the stairs where they are walking on the stairs, and I thought, oh, that's immediately eye-catching and interesting to you, right? Because it's so color-coded and the way that location is set, it's very different from everything you see. So I checked out the trailer, and at that time I was like, huh, Squid Game. I don't know what this is, but I probably will watch it. I thought it was a movie at first. And that was on Friday when it didn't release, I think. And then after that, when it released, everyone was talking about it. And I was like, I didn't see it coming because I thought it was just some random show that I caught on Netflix that's been out or, that's coming out or something. And it became this massive sensation that every single person on my Twitter is talking about it. And I was like, okay, now I definitely have to watch it. I actually delayed watching it because of the other stuff I was watching and catching up to. But I watched it this weekend, and I thought it was pretty interesting. I didn't think it was, the greatest show of all of Netflix or something that, a lot of people are saying, but I do think that it was pretty good, and the characters are amazing. The story is pretty good. The games are also interesting, although I do think the last game kind of was unfair. Um, I won't say what the last game was,
Well,
but I think
if you could, if you think about it, like when all of these kind of companies come up with these games for you to like win a big
right.
prize, it's kind of rigged to a degree.
Yeah, but
Like they always kind of they put something in there that, oh, maybe you win, but you don't win fully.
no, but it's not like that. I think that all the games in here, right? Um, okay, so I I don't know if I should say this, but I don't know if it was in episode 2. So I won't say it. Okay, so basically all the games are kind of an equal opportunity for everyone. Anyone can win, but the last game was not like that. So I thought that was kind of, I know most people won't agree with me, but I do think that was kind of unfair. So that game I did not like. And the very ending of the show, I also kind of did not like. I didn't think it was great. They should have kept it an open-ended ending, but they did not because it was gonna come back for season two. So it was made pretty clear that it was gonna come back for season two. So I did not like that part as well. But apart from that, I thought every character was done in an amazing way. I thought the story was good. Um, I thought there are many layers of deep philosophical elements here. Capitalism and the way people behave with each other. Survival. There's so many things in here that makes you think about. Again, this falls into that same category that I really love. Put a lot of people in one location and see what happens, and you actually do see that on a very large scale and with hundreds of people. And I do appreciate what they made here. They created something very unique and awesome. So I'm glad that a lot of people are enjoying it. And yeah, I don't think it's perfect. I don't think it's one of the greatest shows of all time, because I did have some minor issues with that. But yeah, I do think, yeah, it's a pretty good show. You should definitely check it out. And um, all the hype surrounding it is because of the look, the concept, the characters, and I totally agree there. And it certainly has that. And I do think you are gonna like it to the end as well, Mar. So yeah, keep.
Yeah, yeah, well, like these massive shows on Netflix are never perfect, they're but average audiences kind of they connected them in a way. Like Tiger King was a massive thing during the lockdowns. Squid Game now, like Tiger King wasn't perfect. It was weird. It wasn't even a most well-made documentary of all time, but the story was interesting. The characters were interesting. And here with Squid Game, what I've seen so far is it's insane. And people like these kind of situations where they're thinking, what would you do? And the Saw franchise has been going on for what, nearly 20 years now, or probably 20 years. And they keep making those movies, and people keep going to see them because, like, what would you do in that situation if you had to, like, kill your best friend or something like that, And Squid Game is like just absolutely insane. They're playing these children games to win, like, was it $50 billion or $40 billion or whatever the currency is. It's insane. So I'm glad to see that this is doing well because it's unique, it's different, it's strange, and that's the kind of shows that I want to
Yeah,
see continuing to be made because we get so many superhero shows already. We get so many, Fast and Furious movies. Like, why not something original, different, strange, and it's brand new and it's on Netflix and it's set to be the biggest show of all time.
absolutely. And I can't wait to hear your thoughts after it ends. Um, because the
Yeah.
finale is something you don't see coming at all. And it kind of is a very long episode. It feels like a very long episode. But yeah, I'm curious to hear what your thoughts are. All right. So, moving on to Midnight Mass. Once again, now we can talk spoilers since you have finally watched it. And a lot of people, and most people, I think, have watched it. And if they haven't, I'm not sure if they're interested even, because this was pretty popular a week ago. And, so yeah. What did you think of Midnight Mass?
Yeah. Okay. So last week we talked about Midnight Mass, and you give your kind of non-spoiler thoughts on it. I had not finished the show yet, but this week I have. And like Mike Flanagan, the creator of the show, the writer, the director, we love his stuff. Doctor Sleep, Hush, Bly Manor, all that kind of stuff. He's just talented. He is brilliant. He's actually my pick to do a Justice League Dark movie. I want him to do that in the future or a series. I just think he'd be perfect for it. But yeah, Midnight Mass. So like 7 episodes. The, okay, so and I just read the plot in case some people want to know what it's about and they don't want to watch the show or whatever. An isolated island community experiences miraculous events and frightening omens after the arrival of a mysterious young priest. Okay, So basically, that what it is. It's a very slow burn, and you're introduced to these characters and in the community, and you get some backstory to them and stuff like that. And then strange stuff start to happen. You see kind of things in the background. It looks like a demon, and then I was thinking, oh, is this got to do with ghosts or demons or possession? And in a way, that's kind of all mixed together. But I was not expecting to see a full blown angel that eats people to pop up in this show, which was insane. And this angel isn't like, oh, a good looking angel, like a Charlie's angel, one of the a model or something like this. This angel is terrifying. It's scary. It's got wings. It's bald. It's got massive nails and hands. It's just weird, and it flies off with people and eats them and eats their blood. It's just unbelievably insane. And actually, this mysterious young priest is like this as well. He kind of lives off blood. He's like a vampire, like a demon kind of, but he's in the name of God. They're not doing it in a bad way. They still represent God, but they think that this is like the way of God or something like that. But yeah, so when the twist, like you're, because I knew there was a twist coming because of all the online buzz and people were saying don't be on social media, but I wasn't spoiled of the twist. And when the twist came, I was like, oh my god, this is crazy, this is insane. And I think that happens around episode 6, and it sets up the finale, episode 7. I will say for me, episode 7 kind of dragged on a little bit. I just thought after the big reveal happens, it was like, where do we
Yeah,
go next? And then they're all on this island, and they basically, the people of the island get possessed with this kind of they die, they come back to life, they want blood, they're kind of vampires, demons like that. And then their goal is to go to the mainland and probably spread this to the entire world or
right.
whatever. But after this is revealed, like everyone in the town gets this, after it's revealed, that kind of the feeling of just what is this show, or like this show is really well done, was kind of gone for me because it just dragged on and dragged on. And then you have the people just running around this town in the island, and like they have to just going on and on and on. And for me, it just lost that little bit of edge in the last episode. I think if it had an 8th episode or a 9th episode, it could have, cleared things up a little bit more. And then the show just kind of ended. The island was burnt, it was destroyed, everyone died except for 2 kids who left the island by boat. And yeah, I thought overall very well made show, very interesting characters. But like one character, I forget his name,
But
Riley.
right.
Riley. Riley was a character who was introduced at the very start as the main character. He was just out of prison. I think he was in a drunk driving crash. He killed a woman. He went to jail. He comes back to this island. He's kind of looked down upon because he's a murderer and stuff like that. And he's trying to get redemption for himself. He's helping his father on his boat, with his work. He's going to church. He's trying to kind of change and be the man that he probably would have been unless if he didn't go to prison. And he kind of gets this power because the demon, the angel, kind of eats him or bites him, so then he has the powers of the angel, the demon as well, just like the priest. And then he kind of he confesses it to the girl played by Kate Siegel, who he kind of loves, Erin. And then he just kind of kills himself. He just dies. Doesn't add anything more to the actual story. And then you have kind of a all female kind of lead cast, kind of leading this forward to take down this kind of this cult kind of what the priest is trying to do. And it just ended very soon for me. I thought it could have done another 2 or 3 episodes. I think the finale was just wasn't as good, Casey, as the previous 6 episodes. And that's just my opinion, but I still like the show. But people are saying it's a masterpiece. It's unbelievable. It's 10 out of 10. I would say it's a pretty good watch.
Yeah.
And it maybe would have been a 10 out of 10 if they nailed the finale. But for me, they didn't. So it's just an okay watch for me in terms of, it's a really good watch, but it's just not something really special for me like Doctor Sleep was.
Yeah. I think that it's one of Mike Flanagan's things. I think that he comes from a place of having these characters who have heart and story. So he, by the end of, like Bly Manor, even, by the end of the show, he kind of forgets that it's a horror movie or horror show. Then he delves into this love and human aspect of the story, which I appreciate. I did enjoy that, but I think that he should have, have more horror aspects in the finale as well. But having said that, I do think that it was a pretty great ending. I like it even more on my second watch, because on my first watch, even I thought it was kind of a really good ending, but I thought it was lacking, more of the horror elements that was presented throughout the series, and I agree with Mar over there. Um, but on my second watch, I think it was a perfect ending. I think that every scene that he sets up, he gives these characters an arc, and then those arcs end. And like he knew that by the end of the show everyone's gonna die, so there's no point in not killing off some characters in the middle. I thought that Riley's ending was perfect. I thought that the twist with him was, the thing he was dreaming was his death all along, and they both have a talk, like Kate Siegel's character and him, but they both have a talk about death and what their belief about what happens with death and after death. They talk about that, and I thought that ended pretty perfectly. And the way it was done, um, it was both terrifying, that scene, as well as beautiful. I thought his arc was very, very well done, and I know that it's kind of weird to kill off the main character in the middle because he didn't do much, but I think he just was in that mindset of the guilt being so overwhelming for him to continue to move on, or just convert Kate Siegel's character or anything like that. So he just had to go, you know.
I, I thought what they were going to do was like, so like, is it like when they get bitten, did it become, is it a demon or an angel? What do they actually become when they get bitten and then they have the urge to take blood
So
from
it's
people?
basically
Like, are they
vampires.
a vampire?
Yes.
Okay, so like I thought what was going to happen was the priest would be kind of under the guide of the angel or the demon, and they would be bad, and then Riley would try and fight them because he's the same powers. That's what I thought was
Yeah,
going to
me
happen.
too.
But actually, what he does is he gives the information to Aaron, who then gives it to Dr.
Yeah.
Sarah, who then like their mother is involved as well, Mildred. So it's basically them three are taking down this the the priest and what he's trying to do and his idea. So like that was different. I wasn't expecting that. But I will say what's brilliant about this show is the dialogue. The one
Absolutely.
shot sequences of dialogue. Absolutely fantastic. There's a scene
Every
where
line has
Riley
some meaning that will pay
it's,
off later.
and it comes back to the
Yeah.
finale with Erin and her death. That conversation she had with
Yeah.
Riley. So like the dialogue is really well, like we can talk about some shows where the dialogue or some movies where the dialogue isn't that
Yeah.
good, but this show the dialogue is fantastic. Probably one of the highlights. And there was like I think there was I don't know, Casey, but I think there was some scenes of like 8-10 minutes of
Yeah.
dialogue. And you weren't bored. It was just the characters
Did you
talking.
like
But
the
probably the
did you like the
standout, the
oneer in the
highlight,
second episode? The way it starts? 7.5 minutes.
yeah, it's yeah, it's pretty creative, and it's I wasn't bored of it. I really liked
Yeah.
it. But the best piece of dialogue was definitely Sheriff Hassan
Yeah.
when he's talking to Dr. Sarah about why he came to this
Yeah.
town. What led him here when he was a cop and he witnessed 9/11, and then there was discrimination within the workplace, and he worked his way up. Then he was brought back down. Then he just moved to this town. That one was really well delivered by the actor. Brilliant stuff, and definitely one of the best scenes in the entire series. But the other kind of downfall I had with the finale was like the priest was bad, then he was good,
Yeah.
and then you had like Sheriff Hassan's son Ali. He was on the side of the priest, and then he turns good near the end and stuff like that. Like that kind of turning back and forth. But I will say it does ask big questions about religion. Do you believe in God? I mean, we see documents and people being manipulated by religious groups. Like this shows a great highlight of this. These people in this town were manipulated because not like they weren't just manipulated by the priest being a preacher. They got to see Lisa, who was a character in a wheelchair, get up and walk. They witnessed a miracle. So that's why they believed the priest a little bit more. That's why they
Yeah.
kind of gave in to what he was saying because they got to see a miracle. So when you look at all those point of views, it actually makes sense why the town was so open to the idea
Yeah.
of uh, of being vampires,
and
basically.
and the it's also interesting how they shot certain scenes, and the songs were just beautiful and amazing in the show. And there's one scene where a song is playing and you see this church filling up more and more. There's one scene before that, and the priest says, why is there so low attendance every day, but people only come on Sundays?" So that's basically what happens in real life as well. So that was a commentary on that. And when these miracles start happening, a lot of people, there's full attendance by the end of every single day, and they all are holding the Bible and everything. So that scene I thought was
Yeah,
perfectly done.
yeah, really good for a second season. I think it ended okay.
I don't know if it
Even if you
will
want
have a
to,
second season because it was a
I'm saying
limited
I don't.
series.
Yeah, I don't want a second season. I don't
Yeah,
want them
me
to go
neither.
back. I think it ended. It ended where it needed to end.
Yeah.
I think there's a great line. Is it in this show where people are like, um, "It is what it is," or "That's the way it was always supposed to be." I think that's from the woman who helps the what's her name, the priest, Bev.
Bev,
She
your favorite character?
is a bit. I no, I don't like Bev at all, but that's the point. But she was always saying it was always supposed to
Yeah.
be this way. So the show ended, and maybe that's the way it's supposed to be. 7 episodes, but I think it could have done with 8, maybe 9. But look, I think it's a very good watch, and the twist is worth watching for because your mouth on the floor. Ian, I just wish they nailed it a little bit better in the end. I thought this angel was going to be this kind of Jeepers Creepers type character where he's very hard to beat and very hard
They
to
showed
kill,
very
but he's easy manipulated.
Yeah, they showed very less of that. And I think that was also on purpose. I think that was Mike just saying that um, these angels or vampires or whatever are not the worst, enemies of humans. It's actually humans. And
Yeah,
that's why it was more human centric in the finale. But I think, look, at first I thought when episode 1 and 2, I watched those two, I thought that they are dealing with a fallen angel. There's always that Satan and fallen angel story. So I thought it was that, and I thought it was a demon. But as the third episode unfolded, and then the fourth, we actually understand that it kind of is like a vampire, right? So before watching the show, Mike Flanagan was interviewed, and someone asked him that nobody ever uses this one word in the show, but that one word describes the entire thing in the show. And Mike Flanagan said that, yeah, it was done on purpose. Nobody, it shows that using that word would kind of bring the show's level a bit down from what they were trying to go for, which is a religious aspect, angel, and all that stuff. Saying a vampire would just make it like, a fantasy element of that, right? So I think that was done perfectly. I think they did a pretty good job not mentioning vampire at all, but it very clearly was a vampire and a different take at that. And I just love that they took verses from the Bible and just took it so literally that it could fit with a vampire narrative, right? And that was pretty well done. And I was surprised that, and Bev was literally the walking Bible character. She basically was quoting every single thing, and the priest was also quoting every single thing. And the literal definition makes you think that, wow, this is so wild. And what if that actually happened, right? Because that's what's in the text.
yeah,
So I thought that, on second watch, I like it even more, to be honest, because of how many callbacks that they actually set up. I didn't realize that until I watched it for the second time. You catch some of them, but a lot of them you don't, because they seem like casual dialogue. Like even just two kids walking and playing around, they were saying some stuff that actually set up something in the future. And I thought that was very interesting. But yeah, this twist was pretty amazing. What twist are you actually talking about in the sixth episode?
The sixth episode, they kind of set up with the finale about oh, what exactly happened? Because I watched them so close together. It's like where the demon is the demon revealed in episode six, or is it in the, or is it episode seven? They all went to the church.
In the church?
Um, do you, yeah, when
Oh,
they all gather in the
I think
church.
it's
Was that
episode six. Yeah.
yeah, six, and then when the yeah, and then Doctor or the sheriff Hassan kind of goes against
Right.
them,
Right.
and then the angel is kind of at the back of the church, just standing there.
Yeah.
That was a scary
Yeah, it
shot.
was. Oh,
So that was the big kind of twist for me. And then he's up at the top of the altar behind the priest, and he's standing there. And yeah, that was really good. Really enjoyed that.
people
And then
would
Hassan
freak
took out his
out if that
gun.
happened in real life.
Be crazy. Then Hassan took out his gun, and the angel was pissed off.
Yeah.
So that was really good.
Yeah, I thought that they could have done more with the angel character. He was basically just in the background, because they set up so much of him in the beginning. So I probably would have loved to watch more of him in the finale or something. Being more, he barely talked. He didn't talk to anyone, so that was also kind of weird. He seemed
Yeah.
like some character in the background. But yeah, it was the priest character is he did a very very good job. John, I think is his name. He did a very very good job throughout the show, and I just loved his performance. Even Bev Keane, the actress, did a very good job at making everyone hate her. Like she was
Yeah.
very very annoying.
Yeah, she was, but she played the role perfectly,
Mhm.
and yeah, she definitely had. I told you when I watched it last week, episode one, there was definitely something about her.
Yeah.
It was weird.
Yeah, definitely.
So,
So yeah, we
and she was weird before. She was weird before she found out what the priest
yep.
was.
And look, when the twist started happening, I kind of theorized that maybe this priest and Bev Keane are actually faking it for money and stuff, right? Before the reveal of the angel. I thought that's what they were doing. But it's actually just the priest faking it. And Bev Keane actually is okay with it and she plays along. And that was like, whoa, he is really, really
Yeah.
going for it here.
She'll do anything for God and for her priests. So just shows you how deep religion runs in her veins.
Yeah. And at the end, she turns out to be a coward. She was hiding and never took any of this.
Yeah.
So she basically died like
Yeah.
twice in the show.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
That was so cool. But yeah, I did think that it was way, a bigger step up than Bly Manor for sure, because I thought that, he kind of disappointed me with that show. I was expecting a horror show, but it turned out to be a love story. And I did not appreciate that twist as much as other people. But I do love the Haunting of Hill House. That was pretty amazing. And now I love the Midnight Mass. That was also pretty amazing. Like I said, like Mar said, the finale was kind of let down, and I agree to a certain point. I would have liked a kind of a different one, but upon rewatch, I do think that what this show was going for, and what it was setting up, and what it meant metaphorically, and the themes that were in the show. Based on that, I would think it's a pretty good ending, and there's also one more thing in the end. The angel kind of flies away, right? And the both children are in the boat, and the Lisa character, she says that she can't feel her legs, right? And I was kind of thinking that maybe the angel died and that's why it happened. But Mike Flanagan actually said that it's only because the blood, the thing that they were drinking, right? That just wore off from her blood, and her blood is now pure. That's the reason why her, the effect of her not being handicapped, wore off. So I think the ending is kind of like an open ending where Mike did not confirm that the angel is dead or alive. So it's really up to you.
Didn't show us he's not
Yeah.
dead, you know. So he's definitely they can definitely come back. If they never make a sequel, then you could say he's dead. If they make a sequel, then you can bring him back.
Yeah.
It's they left it open for themselves.
I personally would say that he's dead. He never made it to the mainland. But if you think in a more darker way, he could go to some other city and cause what happened on this island on a very big scale. So imagine that. The whole world could
Yeah.
just be full of vampires. And also, did you like the zombie kind of scene in the finale? The way everyone was turned and
Yeah, it was it's kind of a nod to kind of the old Living of the
yeah.
Dead and Dawn of the Dead movies where you just kind of see them kind of walking like zombies from a distance. That was a really cool shot. I appreciate that. So yeah, I think might be a nod to those old movies. But yeah, that was cool. It was freaky. It was scary.
Yeah, it's also I think him kind of saying that when you are this fanatic and blindly believe in something, you kind of are like zombies, you know.
Yeah.
And also one more Easter egg that I appreciated, which I didn't actually realize both times that I watched the show, is the Seven poster in his room, in Riley's room. Actually, I saw that someone pointed out that it
Oh,
actually has to do with the box. What's in the box? The angel character came inside a box, right?
yes.
So it's a nod to that.
Yes. Yeah. I'd say there's a lot more Easter eggs and stuff. I haven't watched any breakdowns on YouTube yet because I only finished it a few hours ago. But yeah, I'd say there's a lot of hidden meaning there,
Yeah.
and a lot of movies and shows and religious themes. But also, it's not just like Catholic
Yeah.
religion. There's also
He didn't even say that it's based
Hassan
on
and
religion. He said any belief system or
yeah,
faith. So it applies to everything.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So yeah, that was our review for Midnight Mass. I would definitely recommend this for checking out. I mean, it's whether you're religious or not, that doesn't matter. It's just a good story and good thrilling, good mystery type of story. And I thought the ending was pretty good. And the whole show was very well established and conceived. The themes were pretty amazing. The music, especially, was just very, very good. I was surprised that I was liking the song so much, and it played so well with the scenes that were playing, and I just loved it. It's certainly a very unique experience.
Yeah. It's a good watch. Probably good to watch with somebody else, but it is slow in parts.
Yeah,
So I would understand if some people stop watching after a few episodes or even after the first episode because it is a bit
yeah.
slow and it's probably not the show that you're expecting. But you do have to wait till episode 6 for a twist. Well, to see the big what's happening, but there is a few twists before that in terms of Riley and the priest and getting bit and stuff like that. But yeah, I think it's a good show. It's a good watch, but it won't be for everybody.
I think the end of episode 2 actually sets up a great cliffhanger. When I was watching the screeners for it, the end of episode 2 was, Lisa standing up and walking. And that's pretty mind blowing.
Yeah, that's when I thought it was like got to do with possession or something like that. There's a demon inside her
Right.
or something like that. I just because at that stage you didn't really know what the show was
Yeah.
about, but it wasn't. It was something darker.
Hmm. So, yeah, that was our review of Midnight Mass. Let's move on to the next topic, which is Foundation. Ah, this is going to be very hard to discuss without saying anything.
We could probably have to wait until all 10 episodes aired for a
Yeah.
spoilers discussion because just reading about the show and how complex it is, and from the man who it's from, Goyer. It's David S. Goyer. It's a very deep show that you need to really happened. I haven't seen the first three episodes yet because I want to sit down and actually watch them properly with no distractions and really get into it. But Casey, fire away.
Yeah, so basically this show is it spans across centuries, and it's basically adapted from Isaac Asimov, and he is basically the foundation for a lot of Star Wars, Star Trek, and everything that you see today. He was inspiration for that. So this show, based on his text and stories, is definitely going to be in such a huge scale. You expect that, right? The trailer was pretty amazing. I just couldn't believe that this was a streaming service show, because apparently they are fake movies, right? Uh, so I just couldn't believe that what I was watching. Look, the scale is very, very huge, but there are so many characters and such a rich world here that you need to watch a lot of episodes to fully grasp what's going on, because there's, like I said, there's multiple stories spanning across centuries. And there are so many characters and so much is going on that at first you'll be very, very confused, because it puts you right in the middle of an event. Um, I won't say what exactly happens, but there's this world you get introduced into. It's very futuristic. There's a sky bridge that extends from Earth up way up into a space station kind of thing, and the Empire is living there. And the elite people are living there, and Earth is basically just a planet, right? I don't even think it's Earth; it's just a different planet. So yeah, that's basically the setup where you get dropped into, and the scenes keep
Yeah,
happening, and you don't know
and
what's going on.
it says kind of the plot online: a complex saga of humans
Right,
are scattered on planets throughout the galaxy,
right,
all living under the rule of the Galactic Empire.
right. And you basically get. I've seen the first three episodes, and you basically get the gist of. Okay, so the main purpose of the show, the foundation purpose of it, is that their civilization is collapsing, and they need to pass on their knowledge of whatever their technology or their knowledge about everything that exists is, to the future generations who will have to start from scratch. So you can think of it as before our time, even. Like, imagine they existed before us, and they were super highly civilized and technologically advanced, and after them now we started again. So basically that's the foundation they set for us. So that's what I'm getting at. I don't know if it's in the future, or I don't know if it's happening before us, but the way you see it, it's very futuristic.
Or and let me ask you this, because some people are saying they don't know if it's in the past or if it's in the future. Do we get to see Earth in the first three
Nope.
episodes? Okay, so what if the show is taking place right now? Is that another theory?
No, because they show a lot of different centuries. Like I said, it's like there's
Okay,
time jumps of like 500 years.
so there could be a period
Yes.
where they are showing a story that's happening in our
Yeah.
world, right? Like on parallel to our world right now.
Yeah, but
Okay,
so far they
that's
haven't.
interesting. But yeah. Um, so like you have this empire that kind of rules everything, and I presume there's the rich, as you said, and then there's the kind of the poor as well. And like, is there kind of, from what you're gathering, is there kind of like a group that's going to rebel against this higher
Yes, of course.
empire?
So there's the Empire, there's Rebellion, there's First Order, there's everything like that. So everything you see in Star Wars,
So,
it's there. But I think it's
so watch
done.
just watch Star Wars.
No, but I think Star Wars is kind of a very much more marketable, type of material. This is very complex. It deals with a lot of um, a lot of themes that Star Wars didn't. Um, I think, if you want to watch what actually Star Wars would be if it were in the real life, this is probably it, because it's very dark, and there's some stuff that you wouldn't believe they actually did on the show, and it still happens. But yeah, there's so many characters. I still don't know exactly what characters are gonna live or die, or what their importance is. But it's still very engaging. Like, you don't get confused and feel like you're out of it. You still understand that's going on, and you still feel involved in the story. And there's also one mystery, a giant mystery that's lingering. It's the spaceship type of thing that's on this planet, and nobody knows what it is, right? And they kind of assume that it's alien, but it's closed and nobody can get to it. And it has a force field, so nobody can get to it, and nobody knows what it is. So that's kind of a lingering mystery right now, and maybe they answer that in the future. But yeah, there's a lot of good stuff in
So
there.
is this an Apple show?
Yes.
Okay, so obviously the production and the camera quality is going to be
it's
top
it's
tier. Going to be
absolutely
brilliant.
unbelievable. Like, the sets are so big, and I don't even know if it's entirely CGI, but it looks so good. The scale is massive. Like, you cannot even imagine. Like, they are definitely going for a massive scale, and it shows. The quality is
Okay,
amazing.
so I haven't watched the trailers for Foundation, and I've yet to watch the first episode. And I'm seeing some of these images that you have on the screen now, and it does look, some of the shots look pretty interesting, but the costumes look a bit off to me and stuff like that. So, like, I'm not really that interested right now. I'll just watch Star Wars if that's the case. But is there action in
Yeah.
this? Is there really interesting characters to get
Yep.
behind that you want to see succeed? What's the score like? Just touch a few of those
The
things.
score is okay. I didn't think it was that good. I watched this show called Star Trek Discovery, and it kind of gives me that vibe, but the score is not as good. But the scale is very big, and the VFX is top tier. You wouldn't even see this, in some movies, and it's here. And it just blows your mind. The acting is amazing. It's kind of a mix of Westworld and Star Wars, but darker, and some type of shows like that. I think you would definitely be interested in this, because it's very intriguing and very interesting what's going on. And some people might just be lost in the first episode, because you don't know what's going on. But yeah, it would definitely pull you in. It's because it's so interesting.
And is there kind of vibes to
Oh
Krypton
yeah,
and Man of
oh
Steel
yeah,
and that kind of
yeah,
scenario? Because David S. Goyer wrote this show Foundation, and he also wrote Man of Steel. I think he did a few episodes of
yeah.
Krypton, or one episode of Krypton. Or, yeah, but so is there similarities to the writing of what we got to see in the opening sequence of Man of
The
Steel?
writing is very much better here than Krypton. I think Krypton kind of moved away from what Goyer was trying to do. That's what I heard.
He only did one episode. I think it was the pilot.
Yeah.
He just did the pilot
So I think
episode.
they moved away from him, but the aesthetic is kind of still there in Krypton. Kind of, but on a very smaller scale. The look of it, and the feel of the grandness of the scale of the show is still there, but it's even bigger here, obviously. But yeah, I do think that there are a lot of his aspects here, especially in the writing. He just goes very deep here. And yeah, from Man of Steel also, it definitely is a lot of that Giger esque elements that are in the design. It's here as well, but I don't know. It's way bigger than even that. you know.
Yeah, I'll definitely I'll definitely check it out. And the good thing about it is there's the first three episodes are up, so you can watch the first three. If you don't like it after that, you don't have to really stay with the show.
Yeah.
Three episodes should be enough to figure out whether you're into that world that they're trying to build. So I'll give it a chance. I'll watch it, but I wanted to sit down and really concentrate because I seen that David Goyer was one of the writers, and I'm expecting something different. Because he's written some of my favorite movies. So yeah, I will definitely sit down and watch this, and it's on Apple TV if anyone wants to check it out. But I don't hear much buzz online
Yeah.
about it at the
Neither
minute.
neither do I. Maybe people will
Yeah,
start watching it after the whole season is out, or maybe it's not getting much attention because it's on Apple TV. But they are doing a very, very good job in creating a library of original content that's top tier quality, like HBO, right? They don't have many things to advertise yet, but the some of them they have are top tier. I think Defending Jacob was pretty amazing. Ted Lasso is a very, very popular one, which actually was a WB thing at first, and they sold it to Apple TV apparently.
yeah.
But yeah, Ted Lasso is a very popular one. There's another one that I'm forgetting. Um,
The morning show,
The Morning Show, yes,
the
but I was
morning
gonna say
show,
Servant, M
and then
Night's Servant. That's also pretty
Servant,
good. Um, and there's another one.
C, Jason
Yeah,
Momoa.
see, I haven't seen C, and I have heard mixed
Then
reviews for that though.
there's yeah,
For All
All for
Mankind,
Mankind as
right?
well.
That one. That one is
All for
that
Mankind,
one is
yeah.
also one that is pretty amazing. So yeah, they are creating some very, very, very fantastic stuff here. Like you cannot imagine this is coming from a streaming service, and even they have now Scorsese movies and all that stuff. So yeah, um, Apple TV is definitely playing the game in a very good way. They have top tier content. And also, just before we end this, Lee Pace is amazing. Like he always is, he's amazing in this. He plays Ronan in the MCU.
Oh yes, yes, yeah. That's cool. I wouldn't have known that because he's covered in
Yeah,
makeup and
he
stuff like
talks like
that. But
Ronan here.
no, that's cool. Yeah. Oh, makes it more, makes it maybe it's connected to the MCU.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, that was our review of Foundation. I would definitely love for you to check out more, and we can discuss further then, because I definitely need to talk to someone about this, but I have no one to talk to about this except maybe Ben, because nobody's watching it.
Yeah,
So yeah, it's very interesting.
I will definitely check it out. Thanks for the recommendation.
All right, moving on to Doom Patrol. Um, Okay, so Doom Patrol is one of my favorite DC shows, and I think it's very goofy and different and very, very, very ridiculous. Like there's some stuff that you are surprised actually ends up on screen, because it's so ridiculous, and it's still funny though. But yeah, these are some very weird characters that that you would never expect to like or follow for their own series. They showed up in Titans in one of the episodes, and I actually left Titans and I'm watching this show, and I'm now on season 3. That's how much I love this. So yeah, I loved both seasons. I thought the second season wasn't as good as the first one because of COVID. It got short-handed and they couldn't end it properly, so it kind of ended in the middle. But yeah, this season has been fantastic. We get right back into the characters we love, and they just it's just a show that anything could happen, like literally anything could happen, and you would be surprised because it's so ridiculous, right? So I won't say what happens in the season 1 finale, but that's something that I never ever expected seeing in a show.
Yeah, because I'm on season. I've actually just have to watch the season finale, season 1, because I kind of came late to Doom Patrol because here wasn't really available
Yeah.
here you can watch Titans on Netflix. You know, the channel provider here you can watch all the CW stuff on a certain channel. So like I would never had a place to watch Doom Patrol, and Doom Patrol is actually available on Apple TV, the kind of app, if you have it, but you have to buy the seasons on it. So I never went to buy them, but I bought season one, and I'm watching that right now, and I'm really enjoying it. It's different and it's weird. It's not like the other CW shows or the other superhero shows where there's kind of cool action every single episode. Mostly, you know, there's something cool about it. Like, you know, the Batman might show up in Titans with the joke or like a flashback, something like that. It's pretty cool. It keeps you kind of, okay, I don't really like this show, but those types of things are cool. Kind of live for those moments, or Superman and Lois had really good action. Yeah, but with Doom Patrol, like you can see that it's more of a character study
Yeah.
about these characters that are completely messed up, and like Jane, you got Cyborg, you got Brendan Fraser's character.
Robot Man.
Um, uh, yeah, just them
He
coming together,
cannot
like they're
utter
just,
one sentence without saying fuck.
yeah, yeah, it's brilliant. And there's some
Oh
in the
man.
middle of season one, there's some hilarious scenes with him. So like, yeah, it's you feel for these characters, and you get to see their backstory, where they came from and stuff, and it's really well done. But it's a weird
Yeah.
show. It's really weird. It's not like anything I've seen before, and it does some freaky stuff. One minute they're on some sort of storyline, then they jump off into some storyline that's not related
Yeah.
whatsoever, and it works. So it's really well done, and yeah, I heard season two was a little bit weaker because of COVID, which is understandable and stuff like that. But season three, people are buzzed to have it back, and yeah, I can't wait to catch up. Um, I'm I'm sorry I didn't get to watch it with everybody else and stuff like that. And the reason it's taken me so long to kind of binge season one and season two of Doom Patrol is because like Titans comes out weekly and Stargirl comes out weekly and Superman and Lois was coming out weekly, and I wanted to be in those conversations because those were in the now, while Doom Patrol was kind of in the background. But now I need to catch up to Doom Patrol because now that's back on. So yeah, but I do really like the show, and Robot Man's probably my favorite character. Brendan
Yeah,
Fraser.
mine too. And he's amazing. I think that they do a pretty good job at jumping into everyone's backstory and making them likable, or at least you feel bad for them, and you relate to them on certain aspects. Negative Man is also amazing. I think his portrayal is one of the best, because he's a great actor, and yet he has to be covered the entire time, and he's still giving the performance. So I think that's a very fascinating, performance from him. But also, did you like the Alan Tudyk character? I forgot what his name was. Mr. Nobody, right?
Nobody, nobody.
Did you like
Yeah,
him?
yeah, he's a weird character. Just doesn't fully appear at times. He's kind of like uh, fragments of him appear.
Right.
You know, kind of he whispers into somebody's ear and stuff like that. Yeah, he's a weird character, and I forget the actor that plays
Alan
him, but he's
Tudyk.
a very good actor as well. Uh, Oh yeah, sorry, Alan Tudyk. Yeah, he's very good, and he's got a good show out now called Alien. It's where this alien crashes on Earth and he takes over this body of a human being, and then he has to live in our society and stuff like this.
Oh,
An alien in a human being's body. So it's actually really good and really funny. It's called Alien. I nearly said Resident Evil, Resident Alien. It's pretty good. So yeah, I want to see more of him though. He's only been in little bits of season one, so I think coming up to the finale, he'll have a bigger part to play. But I think I've already know that he's kind of survived. I think he might. There's a possibility that he might pop up again, maybe in season three or in future seasons. But yeah,
I think he
I do
played the
like
Joker
the
once, right? In one of the animated shows.
he could have I don't really remember.
Because the way he acts like Mr. Nobody, it reminds me of Joker.
Yeah, no, he's pretty good. And like the chemistry between Doom Patrol
And he
is
also
awesome
breaks the
too.
fourth
The
wall.
cyborg actor, yeah, the cyborg actor. After seeing Ray Fisher first, before I saw him, I just can't see
Yeah.
him as cyborg fully. But look, it's of course he can't look as good because of the budget and stuff like that. But at times his dialogue is a little bit cringy.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because he comes from he's a real superhero. He comes from the Justice League, so when you put him in with this group of misfits, he stands out
Yeah.
as kind of like a cringy character because the rest of them are so serious and like what are you talking about? You know.
Yeah. Yeah, and Joan Wade is an amazing dude. He loves Ray Fisher Cyborg, and they have a good camaraderie on Twitter. But I do think that his look isn't good. Like it's just very cheap. But I think it kind of works for the show because the show isn't about looking good and stuff, even though it has amazing cinematography and amazing visuals, amazing CGI and everything. That one thing just kind of stands out for me because it's not as good as everything else, but that's not as important. His performance sometimes does lag, but his arc is good. They bring back Silas, and you know his bond with his father is also interesting to see. So yeah, they did a good job with him over the years. Not at first, but over the years they did. So yeah, season three, I'm really
Good.
enjoying it.
Yeah, can't wait to catch up. We'll probably do a season three spoiler
Yeah,
talk when, because it's hard to do them weekly because certain people watch
and
different
it's not
shows different
available
times, stuff
everywhere.
like that. They catch up. Yeah, true. So probably when this season ends, we'll do a foundation spoiler review a week after it officially finishes, and same with Doom Patrol. We're able to do it for Midnight Mass because it was on Netflix. You could watch it that weekend, or you've had 10 days to watch it now. So that's why we were able to talk spoilers about that here today. So we'll probably do the same for other upcoming shows. The same with Nine Perfect Strangers, because there's no point of doing a Nine Perfect Strangers
Yeah,
spoiler review every single week because nobody will watch because not everyone watches at the same time and stuff like
and
that.
there
So
wasn't much to
yeah, have
spoil
to take that
anyway.
into account. Yeah, true, true. So, and then it's easier with movies to give a non-spoiler review because movies you can work around, like this is what it's about and this is the kind of themes that hit and stuff. But with shows, each episode has a different arc, and you have to explain last week's kind of arc that leads into this week's arc that goes into next week's episode. So you kind of spoil that. So it's hard to give a non-spoiler review for an episode of a show compared to a season of a show. You
Yeah,
could definitely give a non-spoiler review to Doom Patrol season 3 if you wanted to. This is what it's about. This is my favorite
yeah,
kind of characters and moments, and then you can obviously give a spoiler discussion. But yeah, but I'm glad Doom Patrol was off to a good start.
yeah. The season three has been amazing so far, and one thing I would say to keep you interested is the title of the last episode was called Undead Patrol.
Okay, yeah, I've heard something about
Yeah.
zombies or werewolves or something like that, so I'm interested to check that
Yep.
out.
You'll be loving this because it's hilarious.
Everybody's doing zombies now.
Yep. It's back in fashion.
Zack Snyder at it again. That was a joke, everybody, in case everyone thinks.
But yeah, moving on to Marvel now. Speaking of zombies and stuff, um, we've got What If, and you've heard us speak about What If the last episode, episode 7. We did not like it at all. But here we are, just 1 week later, and I love this episode. This was just so amazingly well done, and because right from the start of the episode, you're put into this different scenario that you have never seen in the MCU. Hawkeye and Black Widow are on some strange location, and they suddenly have more powers than they ever had in the 20-year MCU, the 10-year MCU. Like, what? Suddenly these characters are amazing again. And that whole thing goes into Ultron that was kind of teased in the end of last episode, which was again very badly done. But here they actually explore that character, and it's all about him. It's basically what if Ultron won, right? So
Yeah,
they did a pretty good job with Ultron. Infinite Ultron, I think, is the name. It's basically an Ultron that takes over Vision's body and takes Infinity Stones from Thanos. Like he cuts Thanos into half as soon as he arrives, and that was pretty
yeah,
hilarious. But yeah, the visuals, the animation, the scale, the fighting, the action, everything was just spectacular in this episode, and I just loved everything. it's so funny because just last week it was kind of one of the worst things I've ever seen from the MCU, and now this is one of the best things I've seen in the MCU because this if this was a movie, this would be phenomenal. But unfortunately, it's just a short episode of What If. This would have been such an amazing movie. But again, even as an animated episode, I thought it was pretty well done. It again reminded me why I loved Ultron. I just loved Ultron when it came out. That movie was pretty good. I like Age of Ultron more than most people. I know a lot of people don't like that movie. I do. Ultron, especially his performance, was pretty amazing. He was very menacing, and I thought he was well done. And here they take it to the next level. It's like Ultron is the ultimate badass, and it was amazing to watch. Um, so yeah, I did like everything in this. And what did you think of it?
Yeah, it was really good. It was because I like Ultron as well. I like Age of Ultron. I think it's one of the most darker MCU movies. And I think James Spader, who voiced Ultron, was really good. But I do think it's a wasted opportunity not to give, like, it's a lot of MCU characters, wasted potential. They don't give them their full powers. And Ultron can be so much more powerful. And they can bring him back for future live action movies. And I hope that they do. They do. My brother's here. I'm using my brother's PC, so he's like, nice room. So he's a. That's probably a hint to hurry the f up and get out. But no, so like this is what if Ultron won. So Age of Ultron, he won. He beat the Avengers. He obtained the Infinity Stones, and his programming was to kind of, was it wipe out humanity, or that's what his mission was, or wipe
Yeah,
out just the existence of people and stuff like that. And he accomplishes that in this
yeah.
episode. He wipes out the entire Earth, but
He
then he comes across Thanos, kind of boom tubes or kind of circles into his reality, and he takes the Infinity Stones, and then he realizes that there's other planets, and he goes to all the planets and he destroys all the planets. And then near the end of the episode, like he's sitting there kind of as a depressed Ultron because he's got no more people to kill or no more planets to destroy. And then he figures out that there is not only an Earth, there's not only different planets, there's also a multiverse with multiple planets, multiple dimensions that he can go to and will just wipe out the entire multiverse. And it was crazy when the Watcher, of course, who watches everything, and he's talking like he does every episode. He gives a narration, and Ultron's like, "Wait, who said that?" And he turns around and looks at the Watcher, and this scared look on the Watcher had me scared. I was like, "What? Unbelievable stuff! This is crazy!" And then the two of them fight. They go through
it's kind
different
of like breaking the
multiverses, through
fourth
different
world, right?
dimensions.
Because
It's
the whole
crazy.
show we were
It was
just
really
hearing
cool
the
to see.
Watcher because the Watcher was speaking to us as an audience. And even in this episode, he was narrating and speaking to us, but he could hear it. So it's very meta.
Yeah. Yeah, it was, and some of the shots in this series have been absolutely brilliant as well. But the fight between Ultron and the Watcher was really good. I was not expecting the Watcher to be in a
Yeah,
fight
me
sequence in
neither.
this series, and
He's so
but
tiny.
then it kind of comes full. He is tiny, but he's able to hold his
Yeah.
own, his own. But it kind of comes full circle because the Watcher's able to get away, but Ultron is going to destroy every single multiverse, and he ends up coming back to Doctor Strange that he got to see a few episodes ago. And remember, Doctor Strange was trying to, change the death of I forget her name,
Christine.
um, Christine. Is it? Yeah, he kept going through different time loops to try and stop her from dying, but she was meant to die. It's a fixed time and reality and stuff like that. A fixed moment in time, like Tony Stark dying in every single What If episode, every single What If universe. But he needs Doctor Strange's help now, and then the Watcher has to admit, look, I was wrong. I was wrong. We can change things. So it's looks like we're going to get a sequel to this episode, like a next phase of it. I hope. And it's a little bit confusing because if they had just like, is this all one universe, the What If universe, or is it different universes? Because if they actually had this as one contained story where you followed each of the Avengers and they all have different kind of like stories, they all have different kind of origin stories, and something like Marvel Zombies doesn't happen because on this Earth, like there's a linear path of what this world's Avengers go through, and then it gets to this moment right here where Ultron is kind of unbeatable, and he has the Infinity Stone, and he goes to different universes. Now you have the Watcher and the broken Doctor Strange from a few episodes ago working together to take down Ultron. Then it would feel more like a connected universe that you actually care for. It would feel like the snap in Infinity War. That's just what I think.
Yeah, but I don't know if they are doing that, or I don't know if the other episodes were just in the same universe or different universes, which they will actually bring those characters in the finale to fight, Infinite Ultron. I don't know what will happen, but
Yeah.
I sure don't want to see the other stupid characters fighting Infinite Ultron, especially Party Thor or Captain Marvel or, you know, other characters that were so done in a very silly way.
Yeah. No, like this episode's
Yeah,
brilliant. I think my favorite have been the zombie one and the Doctor Strange one and this one. And my review of this when it first came out was the most disappointing aspect of this episode was that it was not live
yeah,
action, because this would look insane in live
yeah.
action. Now, could Marvel pull off the CGI and stuff like that? Some of the best Marvel's CGI and effects have been like the cinematography shots and stuff like that. It's the suits they don't always get right, but this would be unbelievable to see in live action and Ultron returning with the Infinity
That Hawkeye
Stones.
scene
Like
was
just
also
this
pretty
would be
good.
just that was a cool shot, yeah, where he sacrifices
Yeah.
himself for Black Widow to bring the information, or to use that kind of AI to take down Ultron. But yeah, really good episode, and I hope they. I don't know if we're going to get a sequel to this episode this season or next season, but
I think it will be in the
that's what I'm
finale.
talking about. Like you don't know what is it the finale, yeah, but
Yeah.
that's what I'm talking about. Like this is build up to something really cool. I want to see it next week. I don't want to wait a
Yeah.
few weeks.
Yeah, I think it will be in the finale because in the trailers, we see a team up of sorts with, Agent Carter, Party Thor, and he was driving in some Suzuki or something, Hyundai, I think. So, yeah, stuff like that was in the trailers. So I think they are all getting together in the end, in the finale, to just defeat Infinite Ultron. So that's why I'm kind of concerned.
And then maybe it'll reset a new timeline or something like that. Then I don't know, but yeah, I'm excited. It was a good episode. It was
Yeah,
really enjoyable.
yeah, absolutely. All right. So speaking of Marvel and bringing things back, we have Daredevil. All right. So okay. So I think that one of the best Marvel productions and projects is Daredevil. Seasons 1 to 3. I think everybody agrees that it's one of the best things that Marvel has ever done. But technically, it's not canon to the MCU, right? Um, but recently, people have been reporting that he could be brought back for, people said No Way Home, and then people said Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness, and then people said that it could be in the Echo series that's going to be coming soon. Um, so recently, there have been hints that they are gonna be doing like a season 4 of Daredevil or something. Um, is there some report like that where you can verify?
Yeah, I yeah. So I think one of the scoopers, Daniel RPK, he's been talking about this a lot on his Patreon and stuff like that. But then there was kind of other scoopers that were backing it up or hearing similar things. And look, I kind of watch Grace Randolph. Some people don't like her. Okay, I don't really care if you don't like her or not. Okay, she does have connections within the industry. She does get some things right, but a lot of these scoopers get things wrong. But it's kind of how they present their information. Like like Daniel RPK was right about a lot of the trailers and stuff for Venom and Spider-Man and things like that. So, and Grace gets a lot of stuff right as well. But she has said for a while that Daredevil or Matt Murdock will show up in Spider-Man No Way Home and also in She-Hulk, and that they're doing a spin-off of the Echo show. But I made a tweet yesterday to break it all down. Just bear with me for a second. Um, but yeah, this was trending all day yesterday,
Yeah.
KC. Like people were obviously really excited about this, and they want to see the character come back. Uh, Sorry, not yeah. Okay, so this is what it is. So Hawkeye will introduce Echo, which is a character from the comic books who is a deaf character, but is very well versed in mixed martial arts, hand-to-hand combat, stuff like that. And in this Hawkeye series, Echo will be introduced, and also Vincent D'Onofrio as Kingpin will show up in this show as well. Now, other scoopers have said this as well. Matt Murdock, Charlie Cox's Matt Murdock, will show up in Spider-Man: No Way Home. And I think he will as well as Spider-Man's lawyer. That's the rumor. These are the rumors that's going around right now. Daredevil will suit up as Daredevil, Charlie Cox, in the She-Hulk series, which comes out in early 2022. That's a very legal-based show, got to do with lawyers, courtrooms, and stuff like that. And Charlie Cox is a lawyer. Echo will get her own series, which is confirmed. You can go look that up online. That's coming to Disney Plus. That was confirmed last year, earlier this year. But they're saying that season one of Echo will actually act as kind of season four for Daredevil, bringing back all of the original cast from the Netflix series. That includes Vincent D'Onofrio, that includes Charlie Cox, and the other surrounding characters as well. Until Daredevil gets his very own series down the line on Disney Plus, or maybe Hulu if it's going to be R-rated. I'm not too sure, but that's what the rumors are right now, and that's pretty exciting if true. Now, it would be cool if all that lined up the way it's being presented online. Will it? Who knows? It's Marvel. Can they do it? But they are giving a lot of fan service right now. And Charlie Cox is very popular. And if you're going to introduce the Netflix characters into the MCU, because those are popular, those do have a large fan base. People were pissed when it was cancelled. The multiverse is around right now. What's the best way to introduce these characters? It's the multiverse, you know. So I think this is a big possibility, and it gathered a lot of momentum online yesterday. And it wasn't just it didn't trend like it was fans talking about what they wanted to see. It trended like this is what actually is going to happen. So it's pretty exciting if this is the case. But for all of this to line up, the first time we'll see this is in Hawkeye. So if Kingpin shows up in Hawkeye, then we know then some of these rumors might be true and the rest are soon to follow.
And thank you for all that breakdown. But also to add to that, Vincent has liked some tweets where people were mentioning that he's going to show up in Echo and stuff. So that's also an
Yeah.
important thing I think to note, because he generally
And
shuts down and is very truthful about stuff like this.
yeah, and you have like Alfred Molina, William Dafoe spoiling that they're in Spider-Man 3. You have kind of
Yeah.
these actors who are outside of the MCU spoiling stuff, and then Vincent D'Onofrio is liking stuff. I think he kind of got word from Marvel or Kevin Feige that, look, stop that. And then Vincent D'Onofrio comes out with a tweet saying, I just like things sometimes because I just to like them, you know. So, you know, he's kind of downplaying it, but he's been liking stuff for quite a while. So,
Yeah, it's very interesting. So yeah, I would definitely love for him to come back. Whether it's canon, whether the show he did already is canon to the MCU or not, that doesn't matter to me. Um, I think what it was a perfect ending. I think season three ended perfectly. I wasn't one of those people who wanted to see a season four because I thought they wrapped it up pretty well in the end. His arc with Kingpin was done pretty well. Of course, after that, he would probably have different villains and stuff, but I thought it was done very well. And season three was absolutely top tier. And they went out on a high note, right? So if they were
yeah.
to bring him
But
back, and if they change him, like if it's like a soft reboot, I would be open to it, and I would love for them to kind of change certain things, but also have Charlie Cox's Daredevil, I mean Charlie Cox's Matt Murdock be somewhat similar, but inside the MCU, right? A multiverse Daredevil,
mm,
if you will. So yeah,
so what I'm gathering is from what people are saying online and by putting a lot of these scoopers information together is that so we just say for example this all does happen and Daredevil is in the MCU and they're in season one of Echo and it acts as a season four as Deadpool. So Charlie Cox will return, Vincent D'Onofrio will return, but they'll look a little bit more comic accurate. Vincent D'Onofrio will be a fatter, bigger kingpin, like from the comics, like in the Into the Spider-Verse movie. That character is huge. That's what will happen when he returns. And Charlie Cox will have more of a comic accurate Daredevil suit. It'll probably be a little bit brighter and stuff like that. But what happened in these characters' pasts on Netflix is canon to their stories right now. It just won't be as important to the new stories that are going to be told going forward in Spider-Man No Way Home, in She-Hulk, in Echo, in Hawkeye. The past exists, but it's not like past story beats is what's carrying the future story beats into the MCU, if you kind of get me. It is
Right.
kind of a soft reboot. The characters might act a little bit different, they might look a little bit different, but their pasts are canon. It's just going forward, they have new stories. And if you're thinking to yourself, well, we got to see these characters face off before in the past. Yes, we did, but now kind of just forget about it in a way because now we're in the MCU and
Yeah.
they're going to tell it in a they're going to tell it in a different kind of way. But I will look at the Netflix series as canon, and that's how I think they will do it. But they just won't reference every single thing. This show will have a new feel to it. I don't know if it will be R-rated. Falcon and the Winter Soldier was R-rated, so at times it had blood and gore and stuff like that, and the Captain America shield being all bloody. So there is possibilities that they allow it in Daredevil in the MCU. So let's hope. But I do think the past stories are canon. It's just let's concentrate on the future right now. And I think we could see. I think that the Punisher will show up in Blade. That's my theory right now. I think that John Bertal will show up in the Marsha Hawley Blade movie. That's what I think.
Nice. A few years ago, I was very, I was very kind of overthinking all this stuff, and I was very reluctant on embracing how the MCU is gonna bring the X-Men and these characters into the MCU, because I thought that if Feige were to bring them, he would definitely recast, because Feige likes to have his own things, and he doesn't play along with the other creators. Like he never referenced just single time to Agents of Shield or Daredevil or any of the Netflix shows, because he wasn't in charge of those, right? So I
It's
was
good.
very worried
Yeah.
about that. But it's fast
Can
forward to today, it's like heaven, because everyone's coming back.
we can have our cake and we get to eat it
Yeah.
too, and there's never really a bad cake. But like he understands that instead of trying to convert everybody to new X-Men characters, new Daredevil actors, instead of converting people to you have to like this. No, hold on, you like that actor? Okay, let's bring him back. You like the X-Men over
Yeah.
here? Let's bring them back. That's
It's
really smart,
perfect.
and that's what somebody does for their fans, fan service, and what the fans want.
Yeah.
DC could do that, that's what DC could do. But look, that's their problem and that's their loss. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the future ahead, and hopefully it all pays off. And like Marshall Ali, that's his name.
Yeah.
I think
Mahershala Ali.
he's going to play Blade. Yeah, he's going to be playing Blade, but he played Cotton in the Luke Cage
Oh yeah.
Netflix series, and he was brilliant in that. But they killed him off in like 6 episodes in because I think he was going off to do like True Detective, or he was going to do some big movie. So, but it's funny how the multiverse is incorporated right now, and he can be Cotton, and he also can be Blade.
Yeah.
So the multiverse is insane. So it's pretty cool. So, yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, me too. And DC also kind of is doing that, I think, with the Flash movie. So we'll have to wait and see how well that's
Just
executed.
wait. Yeah,
Yeah.
just have to wait.
But yeah, that was all of the topics for today. And thank you everyone for joining us, and thank you for having this chat with us. I really appreciate you guys, and make sure you like and subscribe. And we'll be talking about Venom, I think, next weekend. So make sure you join us then. And yeah.
And Halloween Kills.
Oh yeah, Halloween Kills, yeah. Oh, next weekend and the weekend after that is going to be very, very amazing, because we have DC fandom then. So there's going to be a lot of stuff to talk about, especially with everything that we have DC going on.
Yeah,
The future of the DCU and
and we'll
everything.
have we'll break down each panel and we'll have guests on as well. And hopefully, if our if we have the time, we can do like a full day of streaming and breakdown that weekend because there's going to be loads of news.
Absolutely. All right, then until next week, take care and goodbye.